Good afternoon and live from Texas, this is the Will Cain Show. You're looking live at D.C., where the lights are off and the fight is on. The shutdown is here, per the Babylon Bee. The entire federal workforce has been replaced by a very tired Marco Rubio. Vice President J.D. Vance and President Donald Trump over the last 24 hours have largely spent the first day of the shutdown dressing Hakeem Jeffries up in a sombrero. If you've missed the AI memes, I'm sorry. It really is so far the highlight of the shutdown. Other than that, if you're trying to use the restroom at a national park, you're probably not reaching much luck. But the shutdown is real, and the vice president is offering an olive branch.
I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop.
Here's the state of play in Washington. Democrats today once again blocking the Republicans' plan to fund the government, again by a vote of 55 to 45. 60 votes are needed to pass. 3 Democrats breaking with their party for a second time to vote for it. As for those Democrats who voted against it, again, the vice president says enough.
Democrats say that they care a lot about lowering health care costs, and yet when the president took historic action to work with the drug companies to lower prescription drug prices, the Democrats did nothing to help us. They talk about doing something, they don't actually do the hard work of making it happen. For the first time since the Democrats have been in politics, they're now saying that unless we get every policy item that we demand, we're going to shut down the people's government. They're trying to take a hostage, and we're not going to let them.
I make light of the fact that bathrooms are shut down at national parks, but the shutdown is having real consequences for millions of Americans.
1.3 million active duty troops will work now without pay. Critical food assistance for low-income women, infants, and children will now lapse. Nearly 50,000 members of the United States Coast Guard are going to have to work unpaid. Over 13,000 air traffic controllers will work without pay, as well as TSA agents, which will very likely create flight disruptions. And pay will now stop for over 150,000 federal law enforcement officers. These are not just numbers and statistics. These are real Americans who have families at home.
While those Americans struggle, Democrats are all smiles for a group selfie. Everyone say government shutdown. These are the people standing in the way of your photo op, by the way, if you were looking to head to a national park. And here, by the way, is what has been shuttered as the shutdown drags on. National Park Visitor Centers, museums, and Library of Congress, U.S. Botanical Garden, U.S. Capitol Visitor Center. But you still got open air areas to look forward to. Those are open for businesses, select park trails, minimal staffing is needed for those trails, outdoor memorials and monuments, Smithsonian museums through October 6th, and the National Gallery of Art through October 4th. So, this shutdown, what is it about? Well, to listen to Democrats and Republicans, it is about health care, and it is about health care specifically for illegal immigrants. But both sides are accusing the other of lying.
The Chuck Schumer AOC wing of the Democratic Party shut down the government because they said to us, we will open the government, but only if you give billions of dollars of funding for health care for illegal aliens. That's a ridiculous proposition.
It's a total, absolute effing lie. And why are they doing it? You talked about clicks and emotion. That's some of the reason. But I'll tell you the real reason. They're afraid of the truth. They know that what they've done to health care has decimated health care for so much of America.
Total, absolute effing lie, sticking to his talking point from last night when Schumer wrote on X, this is a lie. Not a single federal dollar goes to providing health insurance for undocumented immigrants. Not one penny. Republicans would rather lie and shut down the government than protect your health care. Well, I care, Senator, about the truth. So what is the truth? The truth is that in that post and in what you are saying, the lie is in the language. Insurance. This is not about insurance for illegal immigrants, but how illegal immigrants receive health care that is paid for by the U.S. taxpayer. Here's how it works. Temporary protected status holders count as lawfully present in the United States under the federal rules. There are about 1.3 million people here with temporary protected status. Now, those illegal immigrants can go to an emergency room and get medical treatment. That bill is passed from the hospital to the federal government, where the bill is paid by you, the taxpayer. And by the way, if you've ever been to an emergency room, you know it's not full of people simply with gunshot wounds. It's full of people, illegal immigrants as well, with any number of health maladies. All of that care being passed on to the federal government. The federal government being you, the taxpayer. The Republicans are looking to cut that subsidy from the federal government to hospitals to ensure that illegal immigrants continue to get that health care. And that is what Democrats are fighting to keep. That money being funded down to the local level to ultimately fund the health care of illegal immigrants. Now, I could spell all this out, and I did to some extent, but it's easier for me to just let you hear the vice president.
If you're an American citizen, you've been to a hospital in the last few years, you probably noticed that wait times are especially large, and very often somebody who's there in the emergency room waiting is an illegal alien, very often a person who can't even speak English. Why do those people get health care benefits at hospitals paid for by American citizens? The answer is a decision made by the Biden administration that the Trump administration, working with congressional Republicans, undid. We turned off that money spigot to health care funding for illegal aliens. The Democrats, in their legislative text, want to turn it back on. There are various ways in which the Biden administration waived away illegal immigration status. They gave parolees, they gave asylum claims to people who weren't really claiming asylum. And when they waved the magic wand of amnesty, giving millions of people legal status even though they were in the country illegally, they also gave those people access to health care benefits.
So who's trying to change the terms of the game in order to continue to fund the government? Well, continuing resolutions have been passed the last 13 times they've been brought forward, and largely because Democrats were concerned, at least they said at the time, that Americans would suffer.
It is not normal to shut down the government when we don't get what we want.
If the government shuts down, it will be average Americans who suffer most. A government shutdown means seniors who rely on Social Security could be thrown into chaos.
Families will be hurt. Farmers will be hurt.
It's the service members who will work without a paycheck. It's the firefighters who will be furloughed.
This shutdown, you know who's going to feel the pain? You know who it hurts? You. Everyday people and the most vulnerable. Seniors, veterans, working families, hungry kids, y'all.
Where has all that concern gone? I'll give you an idea. It's been flushed down the toilet, not of a fight about health care, but about politics. It's not about health care. It's about staying power, specifically Chuck Schumer's political future in deep blue New York.
I want to just ask you straight up, are you planning to primary challenge him? Do you think that's why he's doing this?
This is so not about me in this moment. I saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly.
So is the joke on Democrats? Republicans aren't exactly powerless here, by the way.
While a shutdown is very damaging for real American people who depend upon government services, it can provide an opportunity to downsize this. So in a way, Chuck Schumer has now handed the keys to the kingdom to the executive branch under President Trump to do some things that we would not otherwise be able to do because we would never get Democrat votes for them.
What's the speaker talking about? Well, he could be talking about an idea from our friend Charlie Kirk, who wrote back in 2019, we should use this government shutdown as a chance to shrink government permanently, privatize the TSA, privatize the FAA air traffic controllers, abolish the IRS, remove non-essential workers. If workers aren't essential, they shouldn't be working in the government in the first place. Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.